Hi YouTube. So I really hope this isn't going to be a rambly video, but it may be. So I was just trying to make a video about me, realizing that I enjoy living a leisurely lifestyle, and yeah. Anyway, I was just trying to create a story over my experiences from the last 5 months or something, and I just had to keep stopping myself because I kept getting, this is kind of relevant to maybe my last video, and I talked about how sometimes I just have this intermittent fear of facts, and I can't determine what's real and what's not, and I think there's no objective truth, and yada yada. This is kind of along the same lines, except maybe in a more introspective, subjective way. And that's, I'm just wondering if other INFPs are sometimes just like hyper aware of their own self stories, and if that causes them stress. Because, the INFP personality is very focused on authenticity, being their real self, not putting on acts, just trying to be as honest and raw as they can, right? That is the stereotype for our type, and it seems to be, I don't know, I think there's some truth in it from the other INFPs I've met, which has been a handful of them, but yeah, I just, I don't know, sometimes I find even with myself, I mean, an INFP is supposed to know, with that dominant introverted feeling, an INFP is apparently supposed to know themselves, better than anything else. They're supposed to have a good sense of, their values. Well, maybe this is where I'm getting this wrong, because maybe I have a good sense of what my values are, but I guess FI doesn't necessarily mean you have a good sense of self, does it? Because you're not only your values, you're other things as well. Yeah, I think that's where I'm confusing this. Well, anyway, I think this is still relevant. It might be more of a type 4 thing, but yeah. So sometimes I just I'm uncomfortable with, or I realize that I'm just creating these stories of who I am and how my life has progressed, and I realize that if I were in another mood, that it would be a completely different story, and just as convincing. So, I mean, it's kind of a curse of being a creative person, I feel like. You can tell extremely detailed and imaginative stories or explanations, rationales for things, but that doesn't make them true. And I often feel like my self-story actually eludes me, and that yeah, it's just like, it's hard to know when I'm actually really being me, or when I'm just being who I think I am, or yeah, I guess this is based around, like, I feel like I have a strong personality, like, I mean, everybody's personality is going to be, you can only create it or reflect it in the external world, right? It can't exist in a vacuum. But yeah, I don't know. Do other INFPs do this? Do you distrust yourself to come up with your right story, the right progression of events in your life? We're as intuitive types, you're always trying to ascribe meaning, and I think because the feeling intuitive types, it's going to be more in that human kind of way. Always trying to find meaning in that human kind of way. So, self growth and stuff like that. But yeah, how do you know when it's a real story you're telling, or is it ever real? Can you ever know? I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking because I think I made my point. If anybody can relate to this little ramble here, that would be great. Okay, thanks. Bye.